Today we will start with d block elements. Now what do we understand by d block elements? The elements in which the last electron enters into the penultimate shell, d orbital of penultimate shell, they are known as d block elements. Now what is the position of these d block elements in the periodic table? And they lie between the most electropositive s block elements and the most electronegative p block elements. That is why they are known as transition elements, because they represent a transition from metallic character to non-metallic character. Now how do we define a transition element? Any element which has incompletely filled d orbitals, that is known as a transition element in its ground state or in one of the most common oxidation states. That is known as transition element. Now that means ki the configuration should be from D1 to D9. If the configuration is D0 or if it is D10, we can't say that it is a transition element. Now, if we say that zinc, cadmium and mercury. Now zinc, cadmium and mercury, what is the electronic configuration of zinc? It is 3d10, cadmium 4d10, mercury 5d10. Now what is the most common oxidation state? And we also have 4s2, 5s2, 6s2. If I say most common oxidation state, that is 2 plus. Now in the most common oxidation state also it will be 3d10, 4d10 and 5d10. So they do not have incompletely filled d orbital. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? That they are not regarded as transition elements. Also they do not show the properties which are typical of a transition element except of their ability to form complexes, but in order to maintain the rational classification in the periodic table, they are studded with transition elements. So that means zinc, cadmium and mercury, they are not regarded as transition elements because they have completely filled d orbitals in their ground state as well as in the most common oxidation state. Now what is the general electronic configuration of a d block element? General electronic configuration for d block is n minus 1 d 1 to 10 ns 1 to 2. So ये जो d orbital है, that does not belong to the penultimate shell, it belongs to the, it does not belong to the last shell, it belongs to the penultimate shell, one shell before the last shell, that is penultimate shell. Now there are different variations in the ionization enthalpies of these elements. Now why the ionization enthalpy is varying? अगर transition series के बीच में completely filled orbital आ जाएगा या half filled orbital आ जाएगा तो obviously the stability will increase, जिसकी वजह से ionization enthalpies जो हैं they will have a irregular variation. Now there are 4 transition series, first, second, third and fourth. That means we have 4 transition series and we have 3D, 4D, 5D and 6D series. Now let us talk about the properties of transition elements. Now what is the first property? First property is atomic radius. Now when we talk about atomic radius, we say that as we move from left to right, what happens is first the atomic radius decreases. Now why it decreases? because as we move from left to right, effective nuclear charge increases. तो ये बात क्लियर हो गई कि वो पहले क्यों डिक्रीज हुआ, क्योंकि इफेक्टिव न्यूक्लियर चार्ज बढ़ गया. आफ्टर दैट it becomes constant. We are talking about within a transition series how the atomic radius is changing. Then it becomes constant. Why it becomes constant? Due to the poor shielding effect of d electrons. Poor shielding effect of d electrons. Now it becomes constant instead of decreasing. Now after that what happens? After that towards the end it increases. Why it increases towards the end? Because of the electron-electron repulsions which are higher as compared to the increase in effective nuclear charge. That means these electron-electron repulsions overcome the increased effective nuclear charge, जिसकी वजह से पहले डिक्रीज हुआ, उसके बाद कांस्टेंट था और लास्ट में जाके इंक्रीज हो गया. Now what is the next property of a transition element? The next property is, let us say that they can form alloys. Now what is an alloy? Alloy is a homogeneous mixture of two metals. Now why transition elements can form alloys? They can form alloys because they have almost similar size. So one atom can take the place of other atom in its crystal lattice, जिसकी वजह से वो alloy form करते हैं. Now what is the third property? Third property is that they can show variable oxidation states. Now why do you think they can show variable oxidation states? Now because in transition elements the energy gap between n-1d and ns orbital is very small. So electrons from both these orbitals can participate in bonding and therefore they can show variable oxidation states. Now let us talk about the metallic character. Now metallic character depends on the presence of unpaired electrons. क्योंकि they have unpaired electrons, so they have strong metallic bonding because these unpaired electrons they participate in the metallic bonding, जिसकी वजह से the metallic character is high. They are more metallic than S block elements. Now when we talk about melting and boiling point, the melting and boiling point is very high. Now why do you think it is high? Because due to the presence of unpaired electrons, the metallic bonding is strong, जिसकी वजह से melting point and boiling point is high. अब इसी से हम density समझेंगे, that density is also very high. Why density is high? Again the same reason, due to the presence of unpaired electrons, metallic bonding is strong, जिसकी वजह से the density is high. Now enthalpy of atomization. Now what is enthalpy of atomization? It is the, like if I talk about iron-iron bond, and if I have to break this bond and I have to separate these two atoms, तो मुझे जो एनर्जी सप्लाई करनी पड़ेगी, that is known as enthalpy of atomization. Now why the enthalpy of atomization is high? Again the same reason, due to the presence of unpaired electrons, metallic bonding is strong, जिसकी वजह से enthalpy of atomization is high. But now my question is that what will happen to enthalpy of atomization as I move from left to right? Because what is happening to the number of unpaired electrons? जब मैं scandium से zinc में जा रही हूँ, scandium is 3d1 4s2, zinc is 3d10 4s2. What is happening? As I move, यहाँ पर one unpaired electron है, यहाँ पर no unpaired electron is there. पर जब मैं scandium से manganese पर गई, manganese is 3d5 4s2, तो मैंने देखा here I have 5 unpaired electrons. So that means that as I am moving from left to right, that is from scandium to manganese, initially the number of unpaired electrons is increasing. तो उसका मतलब क्या है? Enthalpy of atomization would increase. That is, it is maximum. After that, manganese to zinc, enthalpy of atomization will decrease due to the decrease in number of unpaired electrons. Now let us understand the next property, that is the formation of complexes. Now transition elements, they can form complexes. What is the reason? Because of their small size, high charge and presence of vacant d orbitals. So what is the reason? Small size, high charge and presence of vacant d orbitals. They can form complexes. Now, transition elements can form non-stoichiometric compounds. Now, why they are forming non-stoichiometric compounds? They are forming these compounds in which the ratio is not fixed, like they can form Fe.98O1. What is the reason? Their crystal lattice have some voids, जिनकी वजह से they form non-stoichiometric compounds. So what is the reason? Because they can show variable valencies. They can show variable valencies, that is, they can show variable oxidation states. That is why they can form non-stoichiometric compounds. And next point is due to the presence of defects in their crystal lattice. Defects की वजह से they form non-stoichiometric compounds. Now another important property of these transition elements is that they can show catalytic properties, that is, they can act as catalysts. Now we have seen in hydrogenation reaction we are using nickel, platinum and palladium catalysts, they are transition elements. In contact process we are using V2O5, which is again a compound of transition element. Now what is the reason? First is that they can show variable oxidation states. Variable oxidation states show करने से क्या होगा? That they can form intermediate, क्योंकि catalyst को क्या करना पड़ेगा? उसको reactant के साथ react करके intermediate बनाना पड़ेगा. जब वो intermediate बनाएगा उसकी oxidation state change हो जाएगी. Oxidation state तभी change हो सकती है जब वो variable valency show कर पाए. That means it can show variable oxidation state. Then कैटलिस्ट एक्ट करने के लिए इट शुड हैव अ लार्ज सरफेस एरिया, ताकि रिएक्टेंट्स जो हैं उसके सरफेस पे इजीली एब्जॉर्ब हो जाएं. सो सेकंड इज लार्ज सरफेस एरिया सो दैट दे कैन इजीली एब्जॉर्ब द रिएक्टेंट्स ऑन देयर सरफेस. नाउ नेक्स्ट important point for transition elements is, let us discuss about the thermodynamic stability of their compounds. Now let us talk about nickel and let us talk about platinum. Now the sum of ionization energies of nickel, that is, if I talk about IE1 plus IE2, and if I talk about IE1 plus IE2, IE3 and IE4. Now let us look at the ionization enthalpy values IE1, IE2 for nickel. Now lower the value of ionization enthalpy, more would be the stability of the compound formed by that element. Now if I talk about nickel 2, nickel in oxidation state 2 अगर मैं देखूं, sum of first two ionization enthalpy of nickel is smaller than the sum of first two ionization enthalpies of platinum. That means nickel 2 compounds are more stable than platinum 2 compounds. Why? Because IE1 and IE2 of nickel is less than platinum. इसीलिए thermodynamically these compounds would be more stable. Now let us compare the +4 oxidation state for nickel and platinum. Now if we look at +4 oxidation state, now nickel 4 अगर हम देखेंगे, the sum of first 4 ionization enthalpies is much high as compared to platinum 4. Therefore, nickel 4 compounds are less stable than platinum 4. What is the reason? Because the sum of first 4 ionization energies for nickel is higher as compared to platinum. इसीलिए nickel 4 compounds are less stable. Now, from here comes an important consequence, that is K2NiCl6 does not exist, but K2PtCl6 exists. Why? Because here platinum is +4 and here nickel is +4, and platinum की +4 oxidation state is more stable as compared to the +4 oxidation state of nickel. Now let us discuss about the electrode potential and what are the important consequences and observations when we talk about the oxidation states and electrode potentials. Now let us discuss electrode potential and oxidation states. Now lower the electrode potential, greater would be the stability of higher oxidation state of the metal in aqueous solution. Now, if I have to compare that out of, let us talk about the E0 value of Mn3 plus, Mn2 plus, E0 value of Fe3 plus, Fe2 plus, and E0 value of V3 plus and V2 plus. Now let us look at the E0 value of these species and let us understand that what is the stability of the metal ions. Now here we are looking at the high E0 value of Mn3 plus, Mn2 plus. Now why is this so? Because Mn2 plus has a D5 configuration which is half filled. So because of the stability of this half filled d orbital, this configuration is more stable. That is why the E0 value is very high. Now if we look at this E0 value, we will see that it is lower as compared to this E0 value. That means the tendency of Fe3 plus to get reduced to Fe2 plus is less. Now what is the reason? Because Fe3 plus is already stable, it has a D5 configuration which is already stable, so it would not like to lose that electron. वो already stable है, तो वो रिडक्शन नहीं करना चाहता, वो रिड्यूस नहीं होना चाहता, इसीलिए द ई नॉट वैल्यू इज लो. नाउ व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट V3 plus and V2 plus. Now what is the configuration of V3 plus? Vanadium is 23, it is 3D 3,4s2. When I say V3 plus, that means I have removed two electrons from 4s and one electron from 3D, and I get 3D2. This is for V3 plus. But when I say V2 plus, V2 plus का क्या मतलब है? That my configuration will become 3D3. Now what is the significance of this 3D3 configuration? T2G orbital becomes half filled, which is more stable. Ab low value here, what does this indicate? Negative electrode potential value indicates that it would like to get reduced to V2 plus, because the T2G orbital becomes half filled. Now why this value of copper 2 plus copper is positive here? It is positive here. Now what is this E naught? E naught is the sum of sublimation enthalpy, hydration enthalpy and ionization enthalpy. Now what is happening in this case? That the sum of ionization enthalpy and sublimation enthalpy is not balanced by the hydration enthalpy. Now we will understand more questions based on oxidation states. Now copper plus is unstable in aqueous solution. What is the reason that it is unstable? Because it undergoes disproportionation. Now what do we understand by disproportionation? It means that the same species gets oxidized as well as reduced. So copper is going from +1 to +2, means it is getting oxidized. It is going from +1 to 0, that means it is getting reduced. So this reaction is known as disproportionation reaction. Now why Cu2 plus is more stable than copper plus? Although ionization energy of Cu2 plus is much high, because the hydration enthalpy, more negative hydration enthalpy of Cu2 plus compensates for the high ionization enthalpy. That is why Cu2 plus is more stable. Now in low oxidation states, ionic compounds are formed. Whereas in high oxidation states, covalent compounds are formed. Now what is the reason of the question that the compounds of the oxides of transition elements in low oxidation states, they are basic, but in high oxidation states they are acidic. Now what is the reason? Low oxidation state में the oxides are basic, because in low oxidation state they still have electrons to donate, but in high oxidation state all the electrons have been used up in bond formation, so that means no electrons to donate. Oxidation states are shown by compounds of fluorine and oxygen only. That means fluorides and oxides only form compounds with high oxidation states. What is the reason? Only fluorine and oxygen, due to their small size and high electronegativity. So, high oxidation states, they are stabilized by fluorine and oxygen because they are small in size and they are highly electronegative, whereas the compounds which are in low oxidation states, that means the compounds of transition elements in which the metal is in low oxidation states, they are stabilized by ligands which can donate electrons to the central metal atom through pi bonding. Central atom through pi bonding. And what is the example? Example is carbon monoxide, and this takes place by pi bonding. Most common oxidation state which is shown by transition elements is +2, except scandium which shows +3. Now let us discuss about the magnetic properties of transition elements. Now their compounds are paramagnetic and the ions are also paramagnetic. Why? Due to the presence of unpaired electrons, they get attracted by the magnetic field. And when I say that they are diamagnetic, when I talk about Zn2+, because the configuration is 3d10, all the electrons are paired, so it is diamagnetic, it will be repelled by the magnetic field. Now if I have to calculate the magnetic moment, how will I calculate the magnetic moment? The formula will be under root n into n plus 2 Bohr magneton, where n is the number of unpaired electrons. So if I have to calculate the magnetic moment for cobalt 2+, it is 3d7. I will find out the number of unpaired electrons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. N is equal to 3. And I will substitute it in the formula. So it will become under root 15 Bohr magneton, which is a unit of magnetic moment. So as the paramagnetic character will increase, the magnetic moment will increase. Now let us discuss about the color in transition elements. Now I say that transition elements are colored and their compounds are also colored. Color arises due to the presence of unpaired electrons and the vacant d orbitals or partially filled d orbitals. Now what happens is, when a transition metal compound is formed, the degenerate d orbital, we know that d orbital has the d orbital, there are 5 subshells. So what happens is, they split into 2 sets, T2G and EG, that is dxy, dyz, dzx in T2G and dx square minus y square and dz square in EG. Now this is of lower energy and this is of higher energy. So how does the splitting take place? Its splitting takes place like this, T2G and EG. Now when light falls on the surface of a transition element, excitation of electron takes place from T2G to EG, and this transition is known as DD transition, which takes place from orbital of lower energy to the orbital of higher energy, and this splitting is known as crystal field splitting. Now the configurations from D1 to D9, they can show DD transition, but when I talk about configuration D0 and D10, they cannot show crystal field splitting. Why they cannot show crystal field splitting? Because they do not have any partially filled d orbital. So for these configurations, the color is shown by charge transfer spectra, और charge transfer spectra में the color is very intense. So when I talk about MnO4 minus, the purple color is due to the charge transfer spectra. What happens is that an electron from oxygen atom, it is transferred to the manganese atom, and what happens is that O2 minus changes to O minus and manganese in +7 changes to manganese +6, and this charge transfer is possible only if the energy levels of the two atoms are very close. So this charge transfer spectra is taking place in MnO4 minus. So the color of MnO4 minus is due to the charge transfer from oxygen to manganese. Now the last property is that interstitial compounds are formed by transition elements. Now because transition elements have voids in their crystal lattice in which small atoms like hydrogen, boron, carbon can be trapped, and they can form bond with the transition element, so they can form interstitial compounds. Now today we have studied all the properties of transition elements, the trends which the transition elements are following. Questions related to these concepts are given in the module. So kindly apply all these concepts to the questions given in the module, and you will see that your concept will become more clear. Thank you. God bless you.